big news. According to an article by John Mayer from Vulture, Cartoon Network has some big plans moving forward. The community has been going crazy about it, and it's just been a really interesting time to be in the animation community in general. Before we begin, please comment down below what you think of the video when you're done. It really helps out the channel a lot, and I would really appreciate to hear your thoughts down below. I'm Papercut, and let's talk about it. Sam Register wants something unique. It's been 18 months since the 52-year-old president of Warner Bros. Animation was also handed the keys to another Warner Bros. Discovery division, Cartoon Network Studios. He's a veteran in the animation space, having run 2 shows, Hi Hi Puffy Amiyumi and the Looney Tunes show, and executive produced a passel of others. And as someone who, as he put it during a call earlier this year, used to bleed checkerboard, a nod to Cartoon Network's iconic black and white logo, Register is an ardent believer in the shop's ability to innovate and elevate innovators in a way that's unmatched by other studios. Now he just has to prove it. Register later goes on to say, back when broadcast linear content was so strong, Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon were the best. It's become harder for original voices over the last few years, as streaming began to really ascend. Marketing new ideas is harder than marketing IP, and audiences have so many more choices of what and where to watch. Firstly, big ups to Sam Register, who, if you don't know, is currently the president of Cartoon Network Studios, for pointing out what people have basically been shouting from the rooftops for a long time now. We've been begging for more originality from studios for a while, and while I can't say that we've been completely stripped of it, it was always clear that since the mid-2010s or so, something changed, and way more emphasis was put on the returning of older IPs. This was done mostly in an attempt to bring back older fans with these older shows, without actually understanding what made these shows work, and on top of that, often not having the original cast and crew work on said shows. It was really interesting to see someone with so much experience in the field to actually point this out. According to the article, since Sam Register is both leading Cartoon Network and Warner Bros. Animation, the plan would be to essentially have cross-studio deals, where a showrunner from Warner Bros. Animation could go to Cartoon Network with an idea and have it greenlit, and vice versa.
That is serious! Jeez!
New programs in the works include a reboot of the anthology short series Cartoon Cartoons, a successor to the seminal 1990s program that originated Dexter's Laboratory, the Powerpuff Girls, Courage the Cowardly Dog, and more. Unicorn Warriors Eternal, a forthcoming series by Genndy Tartakovsky, who remains the studio's best case in point that keeping talent around for decades pays dividends, and 2 spin-offs of CN's hit show Craig of the Creek, the movie, and Jessica's Big Little World, headed up by Craig veteran Tiffany Ford, the first black woman to run a Cartoon Network series. All of these properties will run on Cartoon Network and stream on HBO Max. That's right, folks. Cartoon Cartoons are coming back. Now, I wasn't born early enough to remember Cartoon Cartoons from the 90s, seeing as how I would be considered Gen Z, so maybe for some of you, this is a more important addition than it is to me. I just think it's cool that Cartoon Network is focusing more on mixing new ideas, while still maintaining older IPs, bringing them back in new ways. I would love to see how the company ends up handling the whole project, seeing how similar it is to its 90s counterpart and all that. Secondly, I told all of you, Craig of the Creek is easily one of the more successful shows the network has had, and the fact that no one on YouTube really reviews it is just a shame. Now I get to laugh in your face again, because not only is it getting a movie, not only is it getting a spin-off, but is also making history. All the respect in the world to Tiffany Ford, who's been working on the show from some of its earliest episodes. While I'm not one who really cares about whether a show's cast has diversity, it is always cool to see milestones like this. I just hope that her and her crew do a good job on both of these projects respectively. Genndy Tartakovsky is making a comeback as well. The creator of Dexter's Lab and Primal is coming back to make a new show, and I've always been a fan of his work and I've always respected what he's done. I'll certainly be interested to see how this new show pans out. The article continues, for a long time, Cartoon Network did only shows for kids, mostly boys, aged 6 to 11, mostly 11 minutes, with production mostly shipped overseas. It made amazing content, but that alone doesn't work in a streaming universe. So instead of just doing 6 to 11 kids content, we're doing preschool content and adult content, and in different formats, making movies, making more young adult content, bringing back shorts. The 2022 animation landscape will serve as quite the testing ground for both the studio's ethos and Register's strategy. The medium is in a boom time, and even with IP all the rage, new ideas are abound. Honestly, it's never been more exciting to be around fellow cartoon enthusiasts than it has been right now. I really thought that during the pandemic things would never really get back to normal after the fact, but if anything, we've had more things to digest in the beginning of this new decade. To go to the point that Register made about how Cartoon Network only made cartoons for 6 to 11 boys, but are now targeting much larger audiences, this is probably why I would say that the community has only grown in size since it began. There's the multitude of Disney stans who mainly talk about Amphibia, the Owl House, Molly McGee, the Loud House, etc. There's SpongeBob and the Nickelodeon community, who mostly just complain about how the network is driven by money when all networks have been and will be driven by money. There's the Cartoon Network side of things, and the multitude of streaming networks, which, despite recent events, is honestly the most chill out of everything I just mentioned here.
Hank, will you please keep quiet?
The article ends by saying, Register is very aware of IP's place in the modern animation ecosystem. I have great reverence for Warner Brothers Animation, and as soon as I got here, I immediately felt as though I had become the steward of all this amazing IP. One of the first things I did when I came to the studio was go to the archives, find all these amazing crew pictures from MGM and Warner Bros. And Hanna-Barbera from the 40s, 50s, 60s, and hang them all over. But the new shows must go on. I feel the same reverence for Cartoon Network Studios, but it's different. My responsibility is to the creators of the future. So what do you guys think of this news? I would love to hear your thoughts down below. In the meantime, click here to see my review of Counterfeit Cat. I hope you have a good day, and take care.